It's hard to believe that this year would have marked the 82nd year for the annual Christmas parade, a day when people young and old would enjoy waving at each other and as they rode on the floats. Christmas is just 10 weeks away. That's right, I said 10. And let's say you want to get Dad a digital photo frame and Mom a digital camera and Sis a movie camera. Wouldn't that be cool? But you don't have any money. But not only is the steep terrain giving firefighters a real battle, let me show you something. Take a look at this. This is this dry timber. And you can see how it kind of just floats in the air. Imagine if it's lit. Well, Monty, I'm sitting on this ladder, first of all, to show you how large this wall is. And I tell you what, I've never seen so many people upset with white paint. Well, it's not necessarily the paint that they're upset with, it's what's underneath. The Mystic Lady mural is gone forever. A few days ago, this is what the back wall of the Tower Theater looked like.
She's gone.
She's gone.
Oh, no.
Today, the Mystic Lady has vanished.
Certainly a blank canvas now, isn't it? Yuck.
It was disappointing. It's one of the landmarks down here.
I miss her. It wasn't really clear what she was about, but it was intriguing and interesting.
Although many had no idea the true meaning behind the Mystic Lady.
Why?
Her creator, artist Joshua Wigger, sure did.
Kind of representing the vibrance of this area, the kind of whimsical, fancy-free movement of the female.
Wigger says he was told folks with the Tower Theater painted over the wall because the mural was looking a bit shoddy. Wigger feels that he should have been asked before the mural was destroyed. He says the Mystic Lady and other murals that grace the tower were painted in 2006 and paid for in part with nearly $50,000 in city funds to beautify the area.
I'd rather just do a new wall to represent Tower District.
Maybe this is an opportunity for a new local artist to showcase their work.
Until then, folks are concerned what could show up.
It'll be graffitied up real crappily now instead of some beautiful artwork.
Here's how it all played out. Just after 6 o'clock, our newsroom received a phone call from someone saying that the missing man may have been spotted in the Walmart parking lot on Shaw Avenue in Clovis. My photographer Terry Woods and I drove around the area for about 10 minutes. It wasn't until we ended up getting to the area of Mini Wawa and Shaw that we spotted a man fitting the description. We asked, "Hey George, is that you?" And sure enough, it was.
I've been lost.
You've been lost?
Yeah.
You've been lost?
I've been trying to find my way home.
Okay, well, we're going to help you find your way home, okay?
Okay.
All right. For nearly 8 hours, George Irving Goodspeed was missing. You've been walking since this morning?
Yeah. Ever since. What I use is the mall from my point. But I never found the mall.
Your family's been totally worried for you. They called the police and they made out a bulletin and sure enough, we found you.
Yeah. I don't know how to thank you, but.
No, are you kidding me, George? We're just happy that you're safe.
Yeah. Well, I'm kind of shaking, but.
Here's George.
How are you?
Clovis police were notified of the 80-year-old's disappearance by his family. George, who suffers from short-term memory, recently moved to Clovis from Modesto and doesn't know the area.
She wants me to take you over there where you can get some food.
Okay.
Sounds good?
Yeah.
We were there when George was reunited with his family. We ended up seeing him walking down the street, and I'm like, I think that's him. That's
So
him.
KMPH is your channel from now on.
Yeah.
Well, George, get a good meal and get lots of sleep tonight.
You do, and I haven't got to do any walking tomorrow.
No, George, you can take the day off. In Clovis, ERIK Rosales, KMPH News. A picture may be worth 1,000 words, but these pictures are worth $50,000. That's the amount my mother-in-law was forced to pay in bribes to keep her husband alive. Glenn and Linda Miller's Mexican vacation with friends was in full swing. Beach, fun, and sun when tragedy struck.
I had been downstairs playing cards with some friends, and when I came up, I was calling to him. I came back through, I saw him laying on the floor.
She said, "Jeff, there's been an accident, and it's serious, and I don't know if your dad's gonna make it."
As I got closer, there was a pool of what I later found out was cerebral fluid that had, when he cracked his skull, it had come through his nose.
Glenn tripped in his room, landing face first through a glass table and onto the ceramic tile floor. Linda, who's a registered nurse, knew it was a bad fall.
At one point, I could tell they were beginning to lose him, and they asked me to leave the room.
Her husband needed emergency brain surgery.
They took him in, and then within about an hour of him being in surgery, people began to stand in front of me, like about a foot away. And they would have pieces of paper in their hands.
Hospital administrators told her their insurance wasn't any good in Mexico, even though she had proof. And you had showed them a piece of paper from your insurance company saying that it's taken care of.
Yes.
Leave her alone.
Yes. I was getting the feeling that they were not going to release him to go home until this huge bill was paid for.
Glenn survived the surgery, but hospital staff continued to hammer her for more money.
And they took me into a room, and a very smooth-talking gentleman kept saying to me, but we need to have $25,000. We need to have $30,000. We need to have $40,000. And I had maxed out my cards by this amount, and I said, I don't have any more. And he said, you're going to need to go and call your credit cards. They do this all the time.
She and her friends gave all they had, tens of thousands of dollars in cash and credit card charges. The hospital finally released him. Linda knew time was of the essence to get Glenn back on U.S. soil. So after doctors cleared him one day after emergency brain surgery, he was airlifted from Puerto Vallarta, Mexico to Eden Medical Center here in Castro Valley.
It didn't look good at all the first couple of nights. They didn't give us much hope.
Joe and Teresa are here to see you.
Glenn finally took a turn for the better. He not only survived, he thrived.
So glad to see you.
Within 5 weeks, he was in rehab. Within 5 months, he was back to work as a certified public accountant.
My accident was October the 6th. I came home just a day or two before Thanksgiving, and tax season started in late January. I did a full season of tax returns.
The Millers are grateful to the doctors in Mexico, but were disgusted with the extortion.
It's fairly common in Mexico.
Mark Jones owns an air ambulance service. He says his company always works with a handler on the ground, a native who knows who to pay and works out the costs.
Mexico, you have to be very cautious. You know, they kind of know that they've got you, and if you don't take care of these things, they'll impound your plane.
So what can you do to protect you and your family when you travel outside the country? First of all, educate yourself. The U.S. State Department's website has a smart traveler enrollment program. Use it. It's a free service that allows you to enter information about your upcoming international trip. You'll then receive alerts about the latest travel warnings, areas you should stay out of, and details where to find the nearest U.S. consulates.
You know, it's very sad to see that some people still are getting into or that sort of acts of corruption.
Reina Torres Mendeville is the head consul of the Consulate of Mexico in Fresno. She advises to keep the name, address, and phone numbers of the nearest hospital with you at all times. Find out if it's a private or public hospital. If it's private.
And of course they charge what they need to charge.
But tens of thousands of dollars, even when my in-laws had insurance, they're not buying that.
Though he fall, he shall not be utterly cast down.
My in-laws understand money will come and go. With the help of their strong faith, they've learned valuable lessons.
Well, I would take away from this that you have no assurances of tomorrow.
God's the great healer, the great physician, and He certainly proved that to us over and over, and I'm very thankful for that.